Hello everyone and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, and let's just continue where we left off. And I'm pretty sure that there wasn't anything to collect or... No? I checked that last time, so obviously there's nothing there. How much biology do I have? 70. Okay. Well, maybe get some more biology. So now I need 80 for that, but I also want to try to get, something for socks to figure out what they eat. So maybe head on out actually. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's explore nearby. Oh? Yes, Utopia? Utopia is sorting through stuff the foragers have brought back, putting them into bins to either get analyzed or taken straight to the kitchens. "Hey, sweets," she says, not even looking up. "You heading out? You and Diz take care of each other out there, okay?" She sighs. "I've got to get through all this before day's end," she says. "It'll take me all day, unless you're herring to help out." Sure. Utopia lays out an assortment of mushrooms. "All right, here's a simple one. Which one of these fellas is poisonous? Pick the right ones." "Mushrooms? You got this. You know what kind of mushrooms are served in the canteen, and it's easy to pick them out of the assortment." Awesome. "Great work, sweets," Utopia exclaims, a big smile on her face. "You're a regular pig." "Don't worry, that's a compliment. On Earth, they used to use pigs to sniff out buried mushrooms. Well, truffles, to be more exact, but sure. Go out there and dig us up some, why don't you? Finish up what you were doing on the survey team, but come back next month and I'll put you with the foragers," she says. "You'll be in the Valley of Vertigo. It's one of the best places to forage for wild berries and other edibles." Ooh, that might be a place to figure out what Socks eats. Maybe. What was that? Oh, right. I forgot that I was actually out on an expedition right now. Or exploration. Can we go that? There's a mushlug. I see it. I can't get to it from here. I need to go past this. You leave the path and sneak through a strand of mush trees to one of the little sawmills dotting this area. It's a small but busy operation. 3 people feeding mush tree logs into some kind of machine, while a 4th one directs a 4-legged robot with a plasma saw mounted on the front. Stay and watch what they're doing. You see how they choose which trees to cut and how they do it. When one tree crashes down, it almost seems like the others are wincing? It's probably just your imagination, though. They aren't planting new ones or leaving any behind. You know the mush trees regrow every year, but can they still regrow when you cut down everything like this? Probably not, and actually, the whole attacking thing in Glow, might that have something to do with that, because we're cutting down a bunch of the mush trees? You never know. Even the smaller trees and bushes are getting ground up for mulch, with a scary big grinder that sounds like a roaring beast. The entire process makes you uneasy, but also proud of how industrious your colony is. Yeah. Got a bad feeling about that. You let your mind wander as you're walking and bumble straight into a field of gelatinous blobgrass. Not again. Totally transparent, the sticky fronds are hard to see. Yeah. Look for a path through it. And there we go. There it is. You can hop along from that rock to that fallen log, then climb over those blah blah blah. We've done this before. No need to read all of it again. Oh, you again, huh? You spot a suspiciously regular mound of spark snow. Maybe something is buried underneath? Could be dangerous though. Poke it with a stick? You cautiously break off a branch and prod the suspicious mound, watching closely for signs of movement. Nothing. You poke further and discover it's in fact just a regular pile of snow, nothing more. Better safe than sorry, honestly. I don't think I can reach that. Oh, I can reach that. Sure. Oh, hello. You come across a float cow that seems to be ill. She's floating upside down. Yeah, I mean, we can do that now, since we have animals of 10. So figure out what's wrong with her. You take a closer look at the float cow. You've heard they float using a certain ratio of liquid to gas in their membranous bladders, so after some consideration you figure out that the bladder on her back must be too full of liquid. Milk the float cow. It's hard to milk a float cow that's upside down. She struggles and kicks her legs at you as you try to flip her over long enough to get to the udders, but thanks to a combination of might and empathy you manage to calm her down. She's still sick. Milk's supposed to collect in her lower udder, not her gas bladder, but at least she's balanced now and she has a chance to get well on her own. Definitely feels better than, poking her with something to let out the gas. What are we at? Oh yeah, we are going back. Yeah, definitely want to check what we get from the other stuff. Yes, go home. It's your birthday! You wake from a night of blissfully peaceful dreams. No nightmares, no premonitions, just a pleasant feeling of contentment. You stretch your arms over your head, blinking in the watery, quiet sunlight that seeps through the porthole window. Things are always changing on Bertumna, but you can't help but feel like things are changing for yourself too. Not just your body, but your mind, your emotions, your future. 14 is going to be your year. Your parents have been working around the clock since the last attack, trying to get the fields right again in time for this year's planting. Spark snow has already started falling, and every day they come home complaining about having to clear it. They asked you to ping them when you're awake so you can share birthday breakfast in your quarters instead of sitting shoulder to shoulder with everyone else during breakfast service in the canteen. You fire them a message and lie back in your bunk, watching dust motes float lazily in the light. After a minute, there's a knock at the door. It's Antecedent. She sweeps into your room in a bustle of skirts and shawls and sits down beside you on your bunk. "Oh, look at you," she says. "Happy birthday, beautiful. 14 years old." She leans in and gives you a motherly kiss on the forehead. It's been years since she took care of you in the children's creche, but all the kids still call her auntie and think of her as a close relative. Her sweet baking bread smell is as comforting as it ever was. She sits back and takes one of your hands in both of hers. "Solane, ever since I held you in my arms as a baby, I knew you were so special, so important. You're becoming a young man, but I want you to know I will always, always be here for you, just like your mom and dad," she says firmly. "Thanks, Antecedent." She smiles and tucks an unruly lock of your hair behind your ear. I guess you're old enough to call me Aunt Anne now, if you like, or even just Anne. Now come on in here, Aunt Anne says, spreading her arms wide. Give us a great big hug. You hug her, enveloping yourself in the warm and familiar softness of her. Over her shoulder, you see Nem standing in the doorway. Well, her hair, anyway. She's been growing it out, and there's no hiding it behind a corner. She skips into your quarters. Happy birthday, bud, she says, bouncing on your bunk. Way to get older. Enjoy being 2 years older than me for a few months. Thanks. I thought you were on your way to Medbay, Anne tells her, and Nem shrugs. Anne turns to you. Annie is supposed to get her menstruation cessation implant today, she says. Mom, Nem hollers. Gross. Selene doesn't want to hear about my period. No, not really. Anne smiles fondly at her daughter. It's nothing to be ashamed of, Annie. Getting your period is a beautiful thing. It reminds us that we have the ability to make life. It's a sign you're growing up and becoming an adult, and ready to take on the responsibility of taking care of that life. Nem wrinkles her nose and throws herself on your bed. I'm never making life. Ew, pass. What's the matter? Scared? No, Nem exclaims, punching you in the arm. No, of course not. It just super sucks that now everyone's talking about how I'm becoming a woman and how I'll finally look different than my brothers. Duh. She points at you. Don't you start too. I'll still kick your ass at sports ball even with cramps. Sure you will. Your parents finally arrive, still damp from the fields and bringing in the smell of crisp, tangy snow on their clothes. Oh look, birthday visitors, your dad exclaims. Anne, are you staying for breakfast? Anne reaches into her bag and brings out a stack of tiffins. No, thank you, but I brought your order with me from the kitchens, seeing as I was stopping by. She pats your hand one more time. Happy birthday again, Selene. You'll always be my baby, even when you're all grown up. Your mom shakes her head as Anne and Nem leave. Oh, Anne, she laughs, sentimental to the core. She starts laying out the cutlery for breakfast. But I don't know how the colony would manage without her and the children's crash, she says and points a fork at you. Family is more than the people that birthed you, Selene. And don't you forget it. I know. There's also your chosen family. Anyway, let's check what that gives. Forage in the valley. Perception and biology. Okay. We need to rest, though. Where do we want to relax? Let's go to the park. You go to grab a wheelbarrow from the barn where Cal keeps his pet dilly pillar and find Cal standing over her empty trunk. Socks is nowhere to be seen. What happened to Socks? Cal sniffles and wipes his face before turning to you. She's gone, he mumbles. I came in to see if she would eat some cornbread and she's just gone. Look, there's a hole in her box and everything, he says, gesturing to the trunk. Sure enough, it looks like Socks must have chewed her way out. Cal is on the verge of tears again. She doesn't know how to survive on her own, he wails. What if she starves? What if something eats her? What if she's scared? I mean, that is a good point, but a bit crude. I don't really like any of these. But I mean, sure, in a sense that, we don't know what the parents would do if they found out. Or grown-ups. I guess that one, it wasn't safe for her here. She was getting really big, Cal mumbles, rubbing his eyes. She was probably gonna get found anyway. He closes the lid of the box and rests his head against it. I'm so sorry, little girl, he whispers. I tried, I really did. I'll miss you so much. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I wish I could have found something, but I didn't. I don't know where to look, you know, to find out what she would have needed. But yeah, let's go and forage. Forage in the valley. Hello, Utopia. Utopia greets you warmly as you muster for your first expedition with a foraging team. Selene, I'm glad you can make it. We need everyone we can get out here right now, boosting our food supplies. I'm ready to sniff out those tasties. Good luck hunting out there, she says, handing you an oversized backpack, more like a basket than a pack. Use your holopalm to identify edible and medicinal plants and just throw them in here. I'll sort them back at base camp. Oh, and keep on the lookout for creatures. It's pretty peaceful out here in the valley, but even a little bug'll get you if you're not careful. Go slow, pay attention to your surroundings. If you're unsure about something, don't approach it. Stay on the path and don't get lost. We don't call it the Valley of Vertigo for nothing. Any questions? Yeah, we are not going to flirt with Utopia. What sort of things should I collect? Utopia shows you how to use your holopalm to determine if something is edible. There's a whole category on your holopedia, including photographs and scientific names. It's mainly plants, though there are some minerals and other things that don't look edible at first glance. There's a lot out there we haven't found yet, she says. Document anything you find that looks like it could be useful, but don't put anything in your mouth until you check with me first. Even if it looks edible, it might be a lookalike. Even the plants are sneaky. You're about to leave when Utopia snaps her fingers. Hold up, Selene. We're also investigating some species we might domesticate. Those we'll want to tag and capture. Ideally, we're looking for herbivorous creatures that already live in herds and either produce something edible or reproduce quickly enough we can slaughter them for meat. If you see anything that fits the bill, tag them and bring them back. All right? And we'll grab that. Definitely not a place for Dad. Look at all this pollen. Oh, another bobber fruit. Oh, look! A friend! Or, well, something like you. A Riki. You come across not just one Riki, but a whole swarm of them. Mostly just baby ones, about the size of your head. They're all amassed around a massive tree, scurrying up and down the trunk. When you can see the tree itself under the swarm, you notice it's the same pale pink as the baby Riki. Its tentacle-like roots meander a fairly large distance before plunging into the ground. When the Riki see you approach, they get agitated, and they look hungry. Definitely hungry, like dozens of hungry grapefruit-sized furry pink spiders, the stuff of nightmares. Your pet Rikitiki doesn't seem scared at all. Why would I fight them? Yeah, screw this, I'll find another route. Although I don't know if I can. Is there another route? It doesn't feel like there is. Oh boy, I guess I have to fight them, even though I don't want to. Alright. 6 63! Jeez. Well, I guess we're getting a bunch of stress because I don't want to lose this one. Well, that wasn't so hard. Yes, it was. You smack a couple of them to the ground and the rest scuttle up the boughs and hide there. You puff your chest out bravely and walk on. Well, annoying though. Sure. You decide to take a shortcut through the jungle to a path you were sure was just up ahead, and now you're lost. Everything looks the same here. The plants are too high to see any landmarks, and you swear some of them move around when you aren't looking. You try to check your positioning with your holopalm, but the damn thing isn't working and won't connect to long-range communications either. Typical. Utopia did warn you the comms were flaky out here. You think you can tell north from the position of the two suns, but that's it. Yeah, unfortunately our perception is not that high. Start walking. This is impossible. Every mush tree looks the same. You tie your scarf around one, hoping it'll at least give you one landmark. Go south? You think you recognize this mush tree. Maybe. It's hard to tell. Keep going south? In frustration, you bang your holopalm against your other palm. Essentially, you're clapping alone in the wilderness like a fool. It seems to do the trick, though. Your holopalm registers the signal from base camp and brings up a map and compass. Well, at least you're out of here. Staring at all this jungle has made you a little more perceptive to these subtle differences. Maybe next time you won't get so lost. Well, let's hope so. But we are heading back. Because we are stressed out. Number 33 then? No, 34. Alright. What? Whatever. Oh. Perception level 1. Highlight collectibles. Okay, all collectibles glow. Nice. That's useful. Ah. Anything else of interest before we go and take a break? No? Let's relax on the wall. Most of the time you're alone up here except for the occasional passing guard, but sometimes you're joined by Dis. He barely looks up at you as you plop down and kick your feet through the railing and over the edge. He looks like he's doodling on his holopad. You see all sorts of plants, mushrooms, little creatures with too many eyes or too many legs. He has a selection of plant samples at his side, like artist paintbrushes laid out on a towel. He must be quite the junior botanist. He's not drawing plants right now, though. He's actually drawing a person, and not anyone you recognize from the colony. They have long dark hair and a pointed face, and are covered from neck to toe in floaty black robes. They look neat. You wonder if they're Dis's original character or something, like his super cool goth self-insert. That looks nice. Dis smiles shyly, but doesn't look away from his drawing. Thanks, he mumbles. I'm not very good at drawing him yet. I mean, I can't really judge it because this was the first time I've seen it. Okay, I am not a fan of that card, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Well, that could... that one is actually nice because of that. So let's keep that, even if it's a 1. You're at lunch with your parents. Sliced soy cakes and watery broth again. Great. When they put down their cutlery and look at each other, then you... Selene, your mom says, there's something we should tell you. We've tried to shelter you from some things, but we think you should know why we've been working so hard in geoponics. Finally. There's a meeting after lunch, and I want you to come with us. Okay. You follow your parents to the council room. Mars has also tagged along, and you take a seat near them as your mom and Aunt Anne stand to address the council. After Utica officially calls the meeting, she gestures to your mom. I'm not going to mince words, your mom says firmly. All of our efforts to increase food production in geoponics have failed, especially given the failure of the pixie beans. The destruction of the fields during the last attack put the nail in our coffin. By the end of the year, the colony will run out of food. The rest of the council murmurs in concern. You and Mars exchange horrified looks. You've been doomsaying about our food supply for 2 years, Flulu, Rhett questions. Do you mean to say we're past the point of no return? Your mother nods grimly. I'm afraid so. Even with rationing, without securing a Vertunnan food source, our supplies will run out by wet season. She gestures to Anne, whose face is grave. Anne and I have gone over the supplies and come up with food plans. We've crunched the numbers. Your mom sighs and spreads her hands. I'm sorry. Geoponics should have been producing better by now. We should have been able to wean ourselves off of soy rations. During wormhole transit, when we lost our hydroponics in the hull breach, she sighs again. I know I've said it so many times, but our crops just don't grow here. We needed those algae tanks. We needed the microbial soil from Earth. Why weren't we told earlier?
Yeah, Mars agrees. Why weren't we told? We have a right to know. We live here too.
She stands up and slams her hands on the table.
We've been here for 4 years, and we could have been helping this whole time. And all you did was have meetings about it.
The council looks at Mars with surprise and then contempt. Utica chuckles weakly.
Imagine being carried for so long and being upset that your feet could not be cut by the rocks.
She waves one shaky hand.
Seeing the future is the privilege of youth. Thank goodness we have them to point out our flaws.
Mars sits back down again, confused by Utica's words but fuming at her dismissive tone. So what do we do now? Instance asks. Starving to death isn't an option. No, it isn't, your mom replies. We need to secure a food source this year, before our rations run out. We're working double shifts in geoponics, but it's not enough. We need more people planting, tending, turning the soil. We need more hands.
I can pull back the surveyors and focus on foraging native plants, Utopia offers. Even the young folks can help. If they've proven themselves around the survey equipment, I'll send out a holo message later. This has been the burden of geoponics for too long, Utica says. It's time we all step up for our future.
The council nods in agreement. Your stomach rumbles ominously. As if on cue. Let's see if there's anything to collect. I don't think so. No. Okay. Well. Oh, Dad wants to talk, so let's stop here because we'll do that next time. Anyway, this is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!